In today's video, I'm going to go over a little update we made this morning with the commission percentage calculation. So this video is really geared for agency owners that pay commission out to ICs. So before we get into that, I just want to go over briefly how the system calculates commission and how that all works. So I've got a reservation open right here, and when you create a user in your account, one of the things that you fill in is their commission percentage. So for example, this is a booking of an agent named Lisa in this account, and her percentage is 80%. And because I have 80 in there, let's delete this out of here. If I were just entering a new booking, or she was entering it, one of her own bookings, all she has to do is just put in the expected total reservation commission, which in this case is 600, and when she saves that page, it will automatically calculate her 80% of that and put it in right there. And that works pretty well, but I know a lot of agency owners might change someone's commission, like they might ramp them up if they start them out on, say, 60%, and then maybe bump them up to 70% after a certain period of time, or sometimes it's based on sales, things like that. That's where it could cause some problems. So you can go in and adjust that commission percentage at any time, and just changing that won't initially affect anything that has already been entered. However, the problem with how it was is, let's say I move that to 90%. I'll just go ahead and do that right now. So I go into settings and manage users, and I go to Lisa's name, and I change this to 90% and click save. Now if I go back in here, let's just refresh this and pretend like I came in here at a later date. You can see it is still $480, which is correct. It's her 80%. However, if at any point in time this reservation gets saved again, it will force the system to recalculate at 90% of this 600. So if I just go here and click save, and now scroll down, you can see it's calculating 90%. So that can cause problems if they should only be getting that 90% for bookings made after a certain period of time. So the actual update that we made is, I will show you here, this button here. So what you're going to do is, we'll say 80% and save that. So it's back where it was for her original commission. But let's say that starting this year, so today is January 6, 2023. So let's say starting in 2023, anything she books during that time period, I want to pay at 90%. So what I can do is I can click add new commission percentage, and I can say it's going to be 90%, and then I can put the date of January 1st of this year, and then save. Now this is actually using the deposit due date, which is kind of what the system uses for booking date throughout a lot of the system, or a lot of the reports and things like that. So that's here. So what you'll notice is, I should have changed that or saved that again, but anyway, because this deposit due date is from last year before her commission was increased, when I save this, it's always going to calculate at the 80%, which is $480. So it won't affect anything that was booked in the past that maybe still hasn't traveled yet, that should not be paid at the 90%. However, if you look at like this one here, this is a deposit due date of today, January 6th. So this one, if I delete this out of here, it's going to calculate 90% of this 550 and populate that there. So that's your 495. So that way it doesn't affect old bookings if they get resaved, but anything that has a deposit due date of this year is going to repopulate at the 90%. Now, one thing to note, so if you're an agency owner that in that exact same scenario where you're paying them a higher percentage as of, say, January 1st of this year, just know that it will not automatically update things that were entered up until this point in time. So if the agent books something on, say, the 4th, and the date is the 4th, and you come in 2 days later on the 6th and you update that, it's still going to show that 80% unless you go in and resave that. It doesn't really matter that much on the expected commissions, because that's just that. It's just the expected. But if you want to kind of forecast actual commission amounts that they will be receiving, they or you would need to, somebody would need to go into those reservations that were entered in that 6-day window and just simply click save, and it'll recalculate at the correct amount, the new commission amount. The other thing to kind of be mindful of is the deposit due date is not necessarily the booking date. It's close, but it's not always the same. For example, a lot of the suppliers, the deposit due date is probably 48 hours from the time of booking. So if an agent actually booked something on December 31st at the end of the year, the deposit due date may have been January 2nd. So technically that should be paid at the old commission percentage. So you'll just, for a small window, you're going to want to keep track of this and either change the deposit due date to the day that the booking was made, or you can use the override checkbox and change it to whatever the correct amount should be. So that's really all there is to it. Give it a try. If you have any questions or feedback on that, feel free to reach out and let us know. Thank you.